Video for today, baby. Why be funny when you can be racist by D'Angelo Wallace? Now it has Andrew Schulz in the thumbnail, and so I'm kind of confused on what's going on. But I've seen some bits and pieces that he's in some hot water right now. So hopefully he'll be able to tell me why. As I say at the start of every video, like and sub. I upload videos every day except yesterday, and I appreciate every single one of you that watches. All right, let's get into it.
Today's entire
Oh, no, not the YouTube ad system. At least I'm supporting people.
If I had to sum up today's entire video in a single word, it would be
Hold on, let me 1.25.
pathetic. The person I'm talking about today, I find him pathetic, honestly, and so strikingly unoriginal that his name is basically interchangeable to me. He doesn't exist as a unique concept or presence on the internet.
That is harsh. He must have done something bad, right? I'd imagine. If he's gonna act that harsh, he must have done something bad, right? This isn't a an overreaction for an edgy joke, is it? I hope not.
I could make every single point in this video by talking about anybody who happens to be in this group of unfunny, offensive comedians, podcast hosts, the man with the microphone spewing middle grade playground takes about race, gender, orientation, etc. All concepts that he has absolutely no understanding of because he
Okay, you're going out swinging here. Okay, I'm pre-prepped to dislike this guy, but listen, I'm of the opinion. Listen, it's a bit of a controversial one, you could say, but you can be racist and be a little funny. Racism can be funny. You can use race as a joke sometimes. It's okay. Now, there's a line to cross where it stops being funny and it's just straight up racism, 100%. But I personally think you could be a little bit racist and be a little bit funny. I don't think that's a super hot take. It's just how you do it.
exists outside of discrimination for any of them. And so to explore my disdain for this type of person, of which there are far too many, we will be discussing none other than Andrew Schulz, whose
Okay.
name I may as well have picked out of a hat because there are so many Andrew Schultzes on the internet with 1 million followers. And surely
Is there actually?
if there's enough room on
Is there actually, or is it just like bot accounts?
the internet for an infinite number of mid podcasts, then I reckon there should be just enough space left for me to point out how egregiously stupid all of this is and all these people are. But first, welcome. My name is D'Angelo, and I am your professor of gymnastic accounting, which is a very real degree that I definitely do have. Or maybe this is just me broadcasting myself talking in my room like YouTube used to be. And in today's lecture,
Okay, so I'm predisposed to think he did something awful, and maybe he has, but this is a lot of like fluffing the pillow, you could say, for the disdain against Mr. Schultz. Andrew, you could say.
we're going to be looking at what happens when talking in your room goes a little too far. And we're going to see what kind of person it takes to build an entire career.
Now, I definitely will say the whole racist being funny, that's definitely not something you should share like publicly. That's something you share with like your buddies when you're, shooting the shit. That's not something you should like go out and say because it's not appropriate.
Career from standing in front of a microphone saying what is essentially nothing at all. So I think the most important framing device for this
Yo, you got a mansion?
video is to kind of get the elephant in the room out of the way early. Andrew Schultz is racist. I know I'm on the internet and people get their feelings hurt really easily by that word. I know I'm supposed to say like, oh yeah, he might have said an offensive joke. I don't know if that means he's actually he's racist. It's apparent.
Oh, fuck. I like these guys. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
From this podcast clip that started going viral recently, where you can see
I haven't seen this clip. I've seen this, like, setting, but I haven't seen this clip. Dude, they look like they're in a fucking dungeon.
so many men with microphones, with these two being guests on the podcast.
Oh, those are guests.
This being our friend Andrew. So the conversation turns to black women, and the guests, James
Fuck.
and Fuhad, start talking about the black girlfriend effect.
Wait, what is the black girlfriend effect?
Oh, I've heard of that, where like a white dude gets a black girlfriend, and then he becomes like baller as shit, and his sense of style starts becoming super like extravagant. Like he starts looking super good and not like mediocre.
Oh, you don't know about
blow out the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend. All of a sudden, he's got a buzz cut, like clean shape up.
Yeah.
He's clean. He's clean. He's very fly, as the kids would say.
So as they explain, this effect is a man glowing
Wait a second. I gotta make sure I'm Okay, I had to make sure that I wasn't muted.
Up when he gets a black girlfriend, leveling up his drip, magnifying the riz, etc. It's a
Yeah.
joke, completely harmless, but
Yeah, it's silly. It is completely harmless. Is it harmless?
notice how immediately Andrew has to swoop in and shoot down the idea that a black woman could ever improve somebody's life. Even as they're talking, he's uncomfortable.
They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about it all the time.
Now, I think that's funny. I think that's funny, but that is a yikes joke. Like, that's more yikes than funny to me, because he's very convincing. Okay, you might be right.
Now, I really want you to analyze the scene that's about to unfold. I almost wish I could get David Attenborough to analyze this, like just these people and
Like, if I were them, I'd be laughing like uncomfortably, probably like what they're doing now, because it sounds like he's being serious.
their natural habitat. You can see in Andrew's face that he is calculating. He's waiting. He's just repeated the racist stereotype that black women are angry, right? Constantly complaining to the point of causing stress for their partners. And James and Fuhad have a choice. Actually, the same choice that every man is faced with constantly when he's in a room with only men. Am I gonna let this slide?
Make your tailgate.
Oh, fuck. Hey, at least I'm supporting the original content. SMH. I'm not going to pay for YouTube Premium.
And James and Fuhad
I'm waiting for YouTube to give it to me.
have all too predictably decided that, yes, they are going to let this slide. So then after sensing zero
Okay, sure. I mean, it's not a super big deal. It's weird. It's uncomfortable, but, you know, it's not a super big deal. I have a feeling he's, the way D'Angelo is speaking, I have a feeling this is going to go much worse, is it not?
pushback, Andrew decides to take it a little bit further.
They
They
grow a
set-
beard
they set the
because
dick
there's
up.
more cushion when they get slapped the out of.
Okay, that's funny.
So now this joke
Okay, that's funny. I think that's funny.
has evolved into black women are angry and violent. And Andrew is
It's a joke. It is a joke at the end of the day, but I imagine there's more.
literally giddy, bouncing up and down like a child who has been given
Yeah, that's a joke. That's funny.
gifts at Christmas. And the gift he's received is complicity. I actually feel like these two look fairly uncomfortable now, but nevertheless, they are still
Well, sure, they probably are
laughing,
uncomfortable.
And they say nothing, which allows Andrew to swoop in for the trifecta.
I think the black girlfriend effect, it might be a protective instinct, bro.
You think?
Yeah.
And that is how an extremely
Huh? That doesn't make sense to me.
lighthearted joke about guys changing up their style to impress black women got flipped within mere seconds into black women are angry, violent, and men need to be protected from them. And obviously, media literacy is at
I mean, okay, I think there's a case to be made that he made a few edgy jokes and might be racist, but this isn't clear cut to me. I'm not convinced. I'm not sold. You know, I like some edgy jokes, but you know, I think I'd like to know when like you teeter the boundary. That second one, I don't know. That second one was more fucking suspicious than the rest of them.
an all-time low because somehow this entire exchange gets interpreted by millions of people no less as comedy. But make
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Now, if it, yes, it's supposed to be comedy, but if it's a joke in poor taste, then, you know, bad joke.
no mistake, what you've just witnessed is not skill. This is habit. Being able to exist in an environment
It's habit. Like, you mean like him just being like fucking content brain? Is that what you mean?
where you get zero pushback for so long and constantly pushing the envelope to see what you can get away with. None of this
Right now, I just don't think it's that deep. I don't
is
know.
dependent on any sort of comedic skill.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe there's more.
It doesn't take any sort of timing, observation, or intelligence to do that. Even the stereotypes that are being boosted here are old. They're tired. They're as old as time. And so for anyone who wants to say he can't be racist, he's just telling a joke. I would like them to point out where the joke is. I've played
Yeah, he's pushing a untrue stereotype and forming it in a different way. I think he's because like my sense of humor is very dry, so this is funny to me, but it might not be funny to somebody else, and I completely understand that.
the entire exchange front to back, and yet no part of this exchange speaks to any inherent skill as a comedian. But people are laughing, one might say, but they're laughing at black women.
Okay, 452. Hold on, let's go back. Let's go back and find where the joke is. I was at 452. Let's go back and find where the joke is. Let's see.
So you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend. All of a sudden, he's got buzz cut, like clean shape up. Glows up, bro.
So as they explain, this effect is a man glowing up when he gets a black girlfriend, leveling up his drip, magnifying the riz, etc.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
joke,
yeah.
completely harmless, but notice how immediately Andrew has to
But you say it's a joke. It's a joke.
swoop in and shoot down the idea that a black woman
Oh
can
no, it was the two guessing the
ever
joke. Sorry.
improve somebody's life. Even as they're talking, he's uncomfortable.
They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so
Like,
stressed around it.
I don't think he's being serious. That doesn't seem serious to me. That doesn't seem like a serious remark. But I'm also taking what everybody says with a fucking grain of salt.
Black girl complaining about it all.
Well, yeah, the joke is that he's making this group of people the worst of the worst.
Now, I really want you to analyze the scene that's about to unfold. I almost wish I could get David Attenborough to analyze this, like just these people in their natural habitat. You can see in Andrew's face that he is calculating. He's waiting. He's just repeated the racist stereotype that black women are angry, right? Constantly complaining to the point of causing stress for their partners. And James and Fuhad have a choice. Actually, the same choice that every man is faced with constantly when he's in a room with only men. Am I gonna let this slide?
Yeah, I mean, they probably should have, like, but it probably isn't that deep right now.
And James and Fuhad have all too predictably decided that, yes, they are going to let this slide. So then after sensing zero pushback, Andrew decides to take it a little bit further.
They
They
grow a
said-
beard
they said
because
their dick
there's
up.
more cushion when they get slapped.
Well, yeah, like, it's a... Yeah, because, like, physical abuse kind of funny sometimes. Yeah. Oh, you got to gear up for when you're going to get your ass beat. That's the joke.
So now this joke has evolved into black women are angry and violent. And Andrew is literally giddy, bouncing up and down like a child who has been giving gifts at Christmas. And the gift he's received
I mean, it's weird.
is complicity.
Don't get me wrong, it's weird. I'm not going to lie that it's not weird.
I actually feel like these two look fairly uncomfortable now, but nevertheless, they are still laughing and they say nothing, which allows Andrew to swoop in for the trifecta.
I think the black girlfriend effect, it might be a protective instinct, bro.
You think?
Yeah.
And that is how an extremely
I don't know. That's the joke. I think that's the joke.
That's what no one ever seems to point out in these conversations. Nobody is laughing at Andrew Schulz in this clip. It's 5 men sitting around laughing at black women. That is
No, I don't think so. Maybe there's a case to be made for that, I guess, but I don't know, man. You're not selling me on that.
sort of the context that I feel like a lot of these comedians are missing. You are elaborately setting up all these situations and scenarios.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing: jokes are always at the expense of somebody, and someone's always gonna get hurt from it. That's
And
like, yes, you can make jokes and where nobody gets hurt. Sure, of course you can. But edgy jokes like these mainstream ones, good luck making jokes not at another person's expense. It's going to be very difficult to do.
but you can punch down at people, and then you get a whole crowd of people
The punching down.
laughing at the people you're talking down to.
I understand the. Listen, I'm not sure about the punching down part, but like, at least in like the YouTube space, when I think of punching down, I think of like a big content creator punching down on a smaller one. Like, and I think that's more of a valid take of it. But like, there's no. Are you talking about punching down at a group of people? And is that like an assumption? Because like you are taking these assumptions like way, way too far. But maybe there's like more of this video that I like just have not watched yet, and where you make a clean cut case. But like you have this one guy just like beat down over a whole group of people, and giving him the power to be like he's allowed to do that. I don't know, man.
And you think they're laughing because you have comedic skill. It is pure and
Yeah, that's. We're not thinking about, man, this guy's got comedic skill. We're thinking about, man, that was a funny fucking joke. That was edgy. That was an edgy fucking joke, and that was funny.
utter delusion. And also, it's racist. Even the two
Oh, sure, of course it is. But a little racist is a little funny. But I think this was on the safe side. Close, but on the safe side.
guests that were laughing admitted it after the fact.
Podcast do sorry for jokes about black women.
Podcasts do
Well, I mean, if they're sorry, then there's not much to like. That's a fairly clean cut case.
oh sorry for jokes about black women. What a headline.
Andrew was making a joke. I'm not even going to get into specifics. Making a like, frankly, like racist joke.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was a racist joke. I thought it was funny. It was fucked up, but it was funny.
They then proceed to say that while they know there is no excuse, they were laughing for a reason.
fight or flight is a real thing. Like it is, yeah. Fight or flight is a real
I don't believe this. I don't believe this.
thing. When you're in there, you're in shock.
You're in shock, and all you want to do is move.
Okay, this part being laughing and uncomfortable. Okay, that part, sure. All right, maybe I should just let him fucking
So
speak.
they had to laugh because they were in shock. And listen, laughing out of discomfort is a very real thing that I do far too often for my own liking, frankly. But you guys didn't say anything. You didn't so much as side eye, head tilt, hit him with a brother. What did you mean by that?
I mean, that's the thing. Were they thinking about that in that moment? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like a too much of an edgy fuck, and I didn't think that joke was that bad.
I understand being shocked that someone is being racist right in front of you, though frankly my shock only lasts for like 0.2 seconds at this point. But y'all were not the victims here. You were enabling another person to target black women as the victims. What they really should have said in their apology is, honestly, as a man, it's a lot easier to be James and Fuhad. It takes a lot less effort. It makes things a lot less complicated when you just put up with the bros instead of...
Probably, I mean, there's a semblance of truth to that, sure. But I mean, I don't know. Part of me believes that them putting out that apology was just in response to all the backlash they were getting. So I don't know. Part of me doesn't think like it's like these are genuine guys, but I just don't think it doesn't feel genuine to me.
Calling them out. People really hate to be rejected. And when you take that desire for group acceptance and add it to an environment in which there is nobody to call you out and the targets of your rhetoric are absent, that's how you wind up with a headline like podcast do sorry for jokes about black women. Black women who are quite often left out of these conversations. And so these situations just go on and on and on ad nauseum because not only...
I mean, I just personally don't think it's that deep, but I mean, I understand why people are upset.
Are people not listening to the black women involved? They're not even talking to them in their apologies.
Y'all did not center black women in that apology. Like, why are y'all so afraid to say black women? Like, our community wouldn't apologize to our community. No, apologize to the black women within your community.
And then you wind up missing really important nuances in the conversations like this.
Okay.
But let me just talk about this freeze and flight reasoning they've given. Women who have been assaulted will talk about being in a freeze and or flight position. And I just
Fight or flight. Oh no, it's freeze and flight. Like there's freeze, fight, and flight, right?
hope that the people who can acknowledge that James and Fuhad froze will also acknowledge and give the same grace to women when women talk about being in freeze and flight mode. I think that's all I want. I think I can't even verbalize it. This is really exhausting to say.
I think she has verbalized it though quite well. It's exhausting because this type of comedy, and more importantly, the mental gymnastics people do to excuse it, relies on so many double standards and systemic issues.
Maybe he's right. But like, if there's a white girlfriend effect that made you fucking have to grow beards, like, I don't know. I just don't think the joke is like. I don't think it's a joke. To me, it's a joke. Like, and I understand it's a joke. But I understand why people are, some folks are upset. And not everyone's going to laugh at the joke because it's targeting at a group of people. Sure.
Issues that whereas some people.
And I found the joke funny. But in reality, it isn't. It's fucked up. I shouldn't laugh at that.
People can think about it in a vacuum, others cannot. But then what happens when a black woman gets a little too exhausted and she's not verbalizing it in the exact way that people are comfortable with hearing? She gets called angry by people like this. And so as you can see, this isn't just
sure. I'll take your word for it.
Racism we're dealing with here. It's like this really
maybe I just haven't dated enough black folks yet, black ladies yet. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't been around the block.
deeply systemic racism designed to infuriate, and it's deeply insecure because he is trying to preemptively call out the black woman for constantly complaining, as he puts it, or as I would put it.
Yeah, I mean that's a weird, like these are like weird things to say, but I mean like fine if saying it joking, like if the setup is good and so on and so forth, but I mean it's weird. Don't get me wrong.
Calling out racism. And so that's how I discovered Andrew Schulz, because I saw the BBC article about the podcast duo apologizing. But it turns out that this shtick is Andrew Schulz's MO with everybody, actually. Being racist, getting a whole room of people to laugh at it, and then making it increasingly difficult for people.
Well, I mean, isn't that kind of being a comic at some point? Isn't that like, I don't know, the point? to make everybody upset and offended.
To call out that racism without being perceived as spoiling the fun. But trust me, people are calling it out. Andrew Schulz's anti-Indian rant in front of Indian co-host. I used to be an Andrew fan.
Oh, fuck. This is going to be bad, isn't it?
But his comedy has turned less making fun and more about getting some deep-rooted stuff out in public. While one or more of the guys around him laughed.
I could believe this. I could believe this because the black folks clip, or when he was speaking about black women, whatever, like, is weird, and it was like oddly specific about a few things. Like, yeah, the joke was funny, fucked up, but it was funny. But so I was like, I don't know.
To give him approval that
I do need that extra oomph to believe that.
he's funny. This clearly isn't just a disgruntled fan making things up. This is the exact behavior that happened with James and Fuhad, except this time it happens to be about Indian people. Andrew Schulz, like Russell Peters, takes the mickey out of everyone, usually quite wittily and with a surprising amount of cultural knowledge. I guess it takes a lot of culture to lean into the most tired stereotypes of all time. But I see this a lot actually as pushback when people do speak up about this. Like, oh, he just makes he makes fun of everyone. You know what I mean? Like, are you saying he's racist against everyone? Yes.
Well, I mean, at least he's consistent, I guess. Like, at least he's consistent.
Next, U.S. comedian called out for anti-indigenous racism. So you got
Oh, fuck.
black women on TikTok, Indian people in their own subreddit, indigenous folk in the National Indigenous Times, calling the material disgusting.
Hold on. Go back. Let me read this.
People in their own subreddit, indigenous folk in the National Indigenous Times, calling the
Laughter can be heard from the crowd. One social media user commented the excuse me, routine started off well, but took a disgustingly racist turn. Schultz continued with remarks regarding racist stereotypes and land rights. I mean, but okay. Short videos from a show posted online to Schultz online accounts received a raft of comments from users across social media platforms. I'm going to butcher your name, so I'm not even going to try. Singer-songwriter and Keon labeled the material disgusting, while sort of your rapper Neil Morris, known as stage name, is also critical.
material disgusting, saying it's
He's talking about leather? Okay, I guess. It's utterly disgustingly disgraceful. Anyone applauding this ought to be gravely ashamed. This is a subhuman take, he wrote. Drum Now was then targeted with disparaging responses from users who supported Schultz's racist material. The rapper returned fire, slamming negative responses directed his way. Schultz has a history of troubling material about First Nations people. Okay, so it is a pattern of behavior. Okay. All right, D'Angelo, you might be cooking. I was very skeptical at first, but you might be cooking. Listen, you definitely came out there being like, this guy, boo, bad guy. But it's hard for me to believe that when it comes to comics. So I don't know. I learned what an Aboriginal was, he said on his previous tour. For the last week, I've been walking around like, man, black people out here love picnics. Every time I see... That's a weird fucking... That's uncomfortable. After referencing America's own battles with racism, he goes to comment on being informed Australia's shitty history, and now it's been hard to get them to assimilate like what Western culture. That is... Alright, D'Angelo, you might have convinced me. You might have fucking convinced me.
disgraceful. And anyone...
Like, I want to laugh, because, like, some of this is, like, it's fucked up, but it's funny. And, like, I have that fucked up sense of humor. I was like, oh. Listen, man, you're getting close to crossing that. You're on the fucking line, bro. You're on the fucking line.
Anyone applauding this ought to be gravely ashamed. And this has been Andrew's whole gig for years at this point. Netflix goes all in on anti-Asian racism. He was on Netflix in 2019 calling coronavirus the Asian parasite. And the...
I mean, that's what we all thought. Well, like... No, don't. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. But I remember hearing racist jokes about, like, that shit. So, unoriginal.
Wuhanic plague. Don't tell
That's a fucking new one.
America to wear masks. Tell China not to infect.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up. Don't say that.
I mean, let's be honest. Next to squatting to smoke a cigarette, slinging viruses is their favorite thing to do.
Holy fuck. All right, D'Angelo, you're reeling me in here. You're reeling me in, okay?
He then goes on to claim he's not talking about Chinese people, only the Chinese government. Really?
I don't believe that. I don't
Andrew, the
believe
Chinese
that.
Is squatting to smoke a cigarette? Sounds like something a person would do, but what do I know? I'm just an angry black woman on the internet. But no, jokes aside.
True. You are a strong, independent black woman that don't need no man.
I am not a woman. And if I was, I honestly shudder to think how poorly this video would be received. Because despite all the criticism, you got Andrew over here with his 3 million subscribers, who I'm sure would be really
Damn, that's all I gotta do to get 3 million subs. Just be racist and laugh sometimes. Damn, I gotta get on that.
happy to jump in and let me know just how wrong I am. And looking at Andrew's channel, you can really see how this is all he has. A gay Mexican serial killer? The middle
Okay, hold on. Let's look. Let's look. Let's look. Andrew Schulz. Let's look. Okay, let's be fair. Let's look. Because he's looking at the shorts. I'll look at the shorts. Every drug is legal except murder of capital America, gay Mexican serial killer, roast. I don't know who Rob Krakowski is. That sounds like a kind of name is that? Is that German? I don't know. The Middle East, gay people now. That's cool. Yeah. That's successful atheist. Okay. San Francisco, EU, sneaky connect. China, roasted Diddy, ginger Muslim. Okay. How? Yikes. Yikes. Confronts innocent who? Confronts innocent who? Man on the street. Okay. Removing a girl's okay, that's fucking weird. Latinas, yeah. Jan 6, Trump, sucking cock, tasting cum, football's gay. Yeah, that does seem to be a Okay, so what I'm picking up is that he makes a lot of jokes about minorities. I think that's what I'm picking up here. Okay. All right, D'Angelo, you're pulling me in. You're pulling me in.
Middle East has gay people now? Palestine protests taken over by lesbians? Be careful with Latinos.
I just wanted to make sure he wasn't like cherry picking, because that was something I could easily check.
Interracial couple gets roasted. Like, it doesn't even really matter.
It does seem like the shtick is hating on minority folks.
Matter what he's saying in these clips. What he's doing is extremely deliberate. The most popular piece of content he's ever uploaded is called
Fuck.
Albino says the N-word. This was never about comedy. It's just about shock, stereotypes, and contextualizing yourself in a way where you can never really get called out for it because you surround yourself with people who laugh. I'm sure the #1 pushback I'm gonna get from people on this video is, no, you're calling him racist, but he has this whole podcast with a black man. The brilliant idiot.
Listen, bro, I know some black folks that are good. That's not what I meant to say. I know that there's this kid in high school there's this kid I went to high school with, but he everyone in his friend group call him the N-word. And I thought that was always fucked up. So I think like there's some people that are just okay with it. That I don't know, that have been like kind of been told like it's okay.
Idiots. But has it occurred to you that I do not care? This isn't a sign of anything.
Yeah, no, it's not. You're right.
Other than Charlemagne's willingness to put up with Andrew. And
Sure. There's gonna be some truth to that.
Andrew really seems to have bought into this idea of like a pass from the black community. Even the
Why do you say that? I'm assuming you're gonna tell me why.
way he talks is so deliberately put on. Like, just listen and you'll see exactly what I mean.
Can you make sure she was strong enough to do it? That's a heavy door. Let's not play games. Come on now. That was a good ad. That's a Mexican right there. Only a Mexican.
It's funny, but it's fucked up.
Could whistle like a bluebird. That was incredible.
That's funny, but it's fucked up.
Come on now. That's a Mexican right there. That was a good whistle. Like, Andrew.
This is something I would not say in public, bro. Dude, the FBI would not be able to get this out of me.
Why are you speaking like this? Why have you...
Yeah, why are you like... This is not the shit you say. bro. You're an adult. You should know better. You're a comic. You should know better.
Affected this tone when this is how you actually speak.
Yeah, they were putting this version of stand-up out there that just wasn't that funny. And it was just like super
It wasn't that funny. It was super cookie cutter. So I decided to be racist.
cookie cutter, very polite, very kind of like woke, not ruffling any feathers. And I just always...
Well, I mean, you can do that. I'm not sure if I'd be comfortable calling it woke because that word is so fucking overused and mostly untrue. Oh, okay. I'm just making sure the videos wasn't frozen, but like I said earlier, there's ways to make jokes not at people's expense. It's very difficult. I think it's difficult. And I think they're very corny. Personally. So I semi-understand, but calling shit woke is fucking stupid. And I don't think being racist is the next logical step to take.
found things funny.
Personally.
Or they were a little bit maybe darker, twisted, devil's advocate.
Sure, you can do that. There's a difference between that and a racism.
Like, what's the worst thing that I can defend in a comedic way?
I actually find that a lot of comedians do this and people are just shockingly okay with it. Where they get up on that stage and it's like, shoot, you're here.
Well, I mean, for a lot of things, it's not that deep. But for his case, when this has been like something over time, shit, I think I could be convinced that he is. I mean, you listen, bro. You make a pretty good D'Angelo. You make a pretty good fucking case. I'm not even gonna cap with you.
You're in a completely different person, and it's like you just code switched from white to white with extra steps. What do you mean?
Huh? What does code switch mean? Hold on. What does that mean? Shifting from one linguistic code, a language or dialect to another. Okay, I guess. I don't really get. Maybe I'm just too stupid. Joe should have scheduled a black guy to come in on halfway through so he could have 2 hour of white Schulz to 2 hour black. That's not funny.
Unless you think I'm just reaching or grasping at straws. This is...
I don't like. I thought in the start of the video you were reaching. Oh, 100%, dude. I thought your back was fucking hurting from all the fucking reaching you were doing, but you make a pretty good fucking case.
Something that thousands of people have acknowledged. When Andrew appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast, which we'll get to in a second, one of the top comments said, Joe should have scheduled a black guy to come on halfway through so we could have 2 hours of white Schulz and 2 hours of black Schulz. It is so very obvious, regardless.
That's just a weird comment. What does that mean?
Of whether people want to see it or not. I kind of love his appearance here on the Joe Rogan podcast because it really just exposes how when you take away the racism, the offensive material, Andrew Schulz doesn't have an original thought in that head of his.
Orangutan is
Are you okay? I'm assuming you're going to show me.
stabbing fish while hanging from a tree like this. They figured out how to use tools.
So if, whoa, this is actually interesting. So if we're watching them in their Stone Age, it's completely plausible that some other life form is watching us in our advanced state of evolution.
He does this.
Well, I mean, that's not even, that's, okay. Now you think you're fucking reaching because that one didn't make fucking sense. That's a logical thing that everyone will think of, but that's not supposed to be funny, is it not? I don't know.
So often where he'll just say the most obvious statement that...
Well, but we all do that, do we not? Not all of us are going to have a nuanced take of something all the time.
Even a 12-year-old could have surmised, and then he'll just lean back like, wow, I really just did that. Off the dome.
Imagine we lived through the time where I couldn't get in touch with you unless you were home and
yell
could
out the
hear
window.
your phone.
Yeah.
And we could also live at a time where I could instantaneously be at your house.
Yeah. In the same life. Yeah.
Have you ever seen...
I mean, like, I understand, like, it's fucking stupid. Nah, bro, I get it. That, like, it's a stupid fucking thing to, like, say. But, I mean, I low-key kind of get it. I'm not running... But this isn't, like, an Andrew Schulz, like, defense run. This is a, like, I'm stupid run. Because, like, not all of us are going to have something, like, super interesting to say all the time. Well, that's just how it is. Oh, excuse me. I mean, I kind of get that.
Being a grown man so stupid it makes you want to cry. And when...
I mean, but, like, that's the thing that, like, I don't know if it's just a guy thing, but, like, sometimes guys, when we talk to other guys, we don't, like, I don't know. Maybe I just haven't had enough 3 a.m. conversations with the fellas, I guess. I don't know.
Joe Rogan fans are unanimous.
Andrew's the type of guy to finish sentences. Well, all right. When you say it like that, now I fucking... Okay, I understand what you mean. Now I get it.
honestly calling you out, you know you've messed something up. Andrew's the type of guy who finishes your sentence and now that's his idea. He's the type of guy to ask questions he thinks he already knows the answer to. The exact type of guy that thinks comedians are modern day philosophers.
Philosophers. I mean, but this is like the type of guy fucking shit meme. So I mean, whatever.
But it's not just commenters who call him out for his Schulz epiphanies. These are things that are so easy to see through. Even a fellow comedian called him out to his face at one point. This is one of the rare instances where you're going to see Andrew Schulz receive feedback that is anything
All right, show me.
other than forced laughter.
I have everything I need, and I'm not happy as angst. Whoa.
I love Schulz
What are you
epiphanies.
talking about?
Schulz epiphanies are my favorite. He repeats a statement. He's like,
That's crazy, though.
I mean, okay.
This podcast crew definitely lets him just go on his philosophy talks for way too long. And
Well, I mean, no, I'm not saying that the philosophy talks aren't like fucking like 4-year-old speak, but I mean, some people just aren't that talented, I guess. I don't know.
the fact that they laughed at him when Shane said that just shows they agree. Good episode, though. Not even this man's fans can take him seriously at this point. Like,
Oh no.
truly, who does he have left? And actually, speaking of Shane Gillis, I'm not really very familiar with him, but I did find
Oh, he's funny.
it very interesting that in this very same podcast episode, he actually does the only thing I've ever wanted to see happen to any of these podcast bros with their microphones and their comedy specials. Shane Gillis calls Andrew Schulz unfunny to his face. And Andrew
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
reaction is genuinely incredible to me. It really just confirms every suspicion I had about him, which is that, again, when you take away all of the nonsense, there is absolutely nothing there. He has no legs to stand on. So for context, they pull up this picture of this lifter with Down syndrome, who they're comparing to Shane.
Yeah, that's funny.
Hold on.
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
Oh, you look good.
What you're about to see is one of the deepest clips on the internet, because in real time, you're going to see a man in this all-man environment go through the calculations, run the numbers, and try to figure out what will happen if he actually says something. The thing that never happens.
I just want to hear it's a zoo. It's a
And then, by golly, he actually says something.
Nah, you look great, dog. Congrats.
I don't think that's funny.
But
Oh, I think I've seen this.
yeah, I see that. I see why.
Like, you don't get it, you mean?
Immediately flipping this into, oh, you just don't understand it. Like, watch in real time.
Wait, no, that's not what he said.
Like, you don't get it, you mean?
Immediately flipping.
But yeah, I see that. I see why.
Oh, it's this guy.
See why.
Like, you don't get it, you mean?
Immediately flipping this into, oh, you just don't understand it. Like, watch in real time as this entire podcast of guys just starts crumbling into middle school.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they're being open and honest. I mean, I can't really complain about that.
Get the joke. What do you say?
Yeah, it's okay, dude. It's okay.
Realizing in real time that this is in fact middle school behavior and you can opt out of it is just so fascinating to me.
Oh, yeah, sure. I think people are too prideful sometimes to say when they're wrong. That's the biggest thing I think I notice on the internet is people are way too prideful. Their egos are way too big, and like not willing to be wrong. Like for some things, I hope I'm wrong with some things. I really hope I am. Like I'm open to being wrong. That's not a problem if I'm wrong. Because I don't know. It's a weird thing, but I mean, I just like more people to humble themselves and, know that they might be wrong with some things.
To watch. Again, David Attenborough, where are you?
How old are you guys?
Say what?
38.
Oh, wow.
38.
You guys act young as though. You guys,
Yeah. Hey, preach, sister.
what are you guys, 18?
Also, Andrew Schulz is 40, by the way. Like,
I mean, at least he's calling him out for the bad behavior.
actually 40. Like, on God, unironically born in 1983, 40. Like, older than Shane Gillis, 40. What are you doing with your life, my guy? What is any of this? How are you cool with this being your internet presence? I'm sure someone will ask, what does this AIDS have to do with it? It has everything to do with it. This guy is stuck. You want to be black, you'll never be black. You want to be a cool kid, that ship has sailed. You are the cool kid's dad at this point. And this, like, inauthentic...
I don't know, man. Kinda right.
fake forced nonsense that has wormed its way into his entire shtick. It's so indicative of Andrew Schulz just being the worst type of comedian, aka a storyteller with no story to tell.
By the way, these guys are awesome. They're having fun.
Yeah.
For you guys to sit here and be like,
Wait a minute.
let's bring it up and mock them. That's up, dude. That's
We're
a
mocking
dude.
you. We're mocking
By,
you, yeah.
by using them as an insult. You're
Use
just-
it. This is you back in your victim thing.
No, I'm not being.
No, it's not being a victim, but you're making other people a victim.
I'm saying the jokes you're doing is not. It's not like.
It's not PC.
That's not cool.
You know what's really great?
Yeah.
You're triggered. It's not PC. You don't get it. You're being a victim. Within seconds, these people have turned into caricatures. All Shane had
Sure.
to do was sit there and say, this isn't funny. This feels mean. And they lost it. It's a wrap. If there's just one thing I really want to leave you with, it's the fact that under no circumstances should this man ever be called funny.
If Hot to a Girl goes down on Mr. Beast and shows what she can actually do, I think that's 1 billion views. What we need to do is see if Chris can still get his son. We need to see.
I mean, but that's the thing. Comedy is subjective at the end of the day. So, I mean, meh. But, D'Angelo, I will say you did prove me wrong with, because it was definitely a hear me out because I was prone to like Mr. Schulz beforehand. So it was going to be a very hard sell, and I think you sold me. Unironically. I think you sold me on that one.
If Chris got the Mr. Beast left in him, we need to see if Chris got the bow wow yippee yo yippee yay. Where my dogs at? Bark with me now.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I understand this part isn't that fucking funny. It's just old meme.
Yeah, we're calling this person a comedian. Great. And you know, it must be a bit of a tortured existence seeing all these people calling you a comedian while knowing deep down that you are in fact just a one-trick, 2D, unfunny, fake deep, fake voice, no poise, overrated, thinks I hate it, spineless, racist, mindless, tasteless, born in 83 Gen Z wannabe who mistook
Holy fuck, dude, the fucking combo. Holy fuck, the combo. Dude, I just got...
TikTok for talent and is now killing comedy one brain cell at a time. Respectfully. But that's my take on the situation. Dave's take on the situation is that maybe the fact that Andrew finds himself funny does have a comedic value that is just
Sure, to be optimistic.
completely separate from Andrew's lack of skill. And I'm of course excited to hear your take. I mean, this is the part of the video where a layman would ask you to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment, but I will ask you to enroll, evaluate the video, and submit your feedback. Because I am of course running a 100% completely, totally, all the way, okay, maybe not really, unaccredited university.
All right, D'Angelo, you sold me. I think there's definitely a I'm not like 100% sold that he's racist, but you can listen, bro. I wouldn't be surprised. He's definitely like a 1 foot in the grave on that one. All right, let's see. D'Angelo really called him a one. Yeah, that was, dude. The fucking combo breaker was fucking insane. I hate to see how some people can't fathom that you can be funny without being like, yeah, you. What I was saying earlier, like, this is a good comment. Like, you can be funny and not have it at the expense of other people, but I personally think it's difficult. Like, you can be funny, definitely funny, without being racist and homophobic, 100%. Angry black person is the most insidiously well-crafted stereotype I've ever heard of. Criticize it, even question it, you'll be dismissed by people who already believe it, and your legitimate concerns are just being angry. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to have this one like stew for a little bit, and think about it more, because maybe I'll be like fully convinced in like tomorrow, but I gotta let that information stew in my brain. Someone called him G-Eazy Hitler. I can't unsee. That's some good shit. You bring black guests on so you can use black stereotypes and have an endorsement. Low key, maybe. There's probably a little bit of truth to that. It's like, no, man, I made these jokes from black folks. I got the pass. When the guy you hate makes D'Angelo video about him. Is that a monkey? Mankey. Cool. I'm over white men saying they like edgy jokes when it's veiled as racism, sexism, and offensive jokes. Just making fun of a minority. Where are all the white people jokes? Dude, we have fucking layups upon layups of jokes, man. About us. You gotta say crackle with the A. You can't say that shit with the hard R, or you'll get banned like Hassan on Twitch. The thing about Shane calling out the comedians and laughing at people with Down syndrome is that Shane's brother has Down. Yeah, I remember this like tagline, and he interweaved like jokes in it. It was a good set. He jokes about Down syndrome in his own comedy shows, and not Down syndrome. He never does it in a way that just mocks people. Yeah. There's definitely ways of making jokes about people not mocking people. That's a good way of saying it. There's ways to make jokes about people, but not to mock them. Yeah, I think that's fair. They went to a study on why the internet is obsessed with black women for being so undesirable. Listen, bro. I think I could be interchanged. I think in America we need to, we need to get rid of white people. We just need to give everybody their big booty Latina or big booty black queen. Give every single guy one of those, and listen, we'll be good to go. Good to go. All right, good video, D'Angelo. You put me on the right path. Like and sub.